All right. Well, we don't need our little starting soon. How are
Unless you
you?
want to go get your hair tied.
Yeah, let me do it. Oh, it's right here. I'll just get it on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You rolling or what?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think we're rolling.
Awesome.
Whew. Good morning.
Good morning.
We made it.
We did. So, how has your week been?
Mhm. Honestly, it was good. It was really, really good. Um, I made extremely conscious efforts to make choices that made my body feel good,
Oh.
like diet wise and
Hmm.
everything, because I'm I'm aware of the human's ability to be heavily influenced by their surroundings,
Hmm.
and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. What my surroundings are doing all the time, even though it would be so easy to just follow the leader, you know.
Hmm. Makes
Um,
sense. Well, that's good though. I'm proud of you for that.
yeah, me too.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, and that the habits that I was doing were not um helpful.
Hmm.
Thank you. Your shirt. Mhm. Laura got two.
Morning, Laura.
She said hello. You heard her. She got two Mickey Mouse shirts yesterday at Primark.
Aw.
Yeah, very precious. Ooh, that one fit you better. Anyway, how was your week?
Um, Kind of similar. I tried to do a lot of things
Hmm.
that would be better for me.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm doing yoga more often, but I'm trying to ease myself into like the yoga like routine because I have this 15 to 20 minute thing that I used to do all the time. And I recognize that not only am I resty, but my body in itself is different than it was when I used to do that all the time. So, I'm trying to give myself grace and be like, okay, we're gonna get through the half sun salutations today. And then the next time I do it, I'm gonna go through this half sun salutations and then get through warrior and
Mm,
kind of do it that way. And eventually work my way through the entire routine and I'll be able to do it fine. But I'm trying not to push myself too hard and also
mm,
give myself days in between while still doing it again on the day that I am going to do it and not just missing a day to recover and then just being, falling off.
that's
Um,
me.
yeah, which is hard. That's the hard part because it's like either you want to go, 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 or you just want to stop. And it's like
Hmm.
you got to remember to pick it up when you stop. That's the hard part for me too, is finding the balance.
Yeah.
And overall, it's interesting. I was pretty productive this week. A friend from work gave me her old Kindle, and that's been a life changer because I thought about getting an e-reader at one point, but I didn't want to give money to Jeff Bezos, and I also didn't want to well give more money because we already spent way too much with him. But
Right.
I didn't. I did research and I was thinking about getting a Kobo, but then I'm like, I have to buy the ebooks, and it's like maybe it's just not in the cards.
Mm,
So I talked myself out of it, and then lo and behold, just Monday, she's like, "Hey, you really like to read, and I just found my old one that I got after I bought this new one. It's just been sitting in a closet for 8 years. Would you want it?" And I'm like, "You know what? Fine. I'm not paying for it." Um,
hmm.
and I was able to, she also shared this link to this booksprout.co, which apparently lets you read free ebooks from indie authors that are trying to get their name out there. And then you just need to leave honest reviews on a couple like Amazons and stuff to prepare them for launch. And some of them are even like ARC copies, like advanced reader copies. And I'm like, that is so cool. So now I have free ebooks by indie authors on a Kindle, and it's not left my side. So having that nearby also kind of redirects my attention because I noticed that I don't want to be on my phone as much. I don't want to be watching videos or whatever. Like, I just want to be reading my Kindle, which brings silence back into my life, which is something I'm really
Mm.
struggle with. And so it's easier for me to deal with the silences instead of having a video on 24/7. It's easier for me to deal with silence because, like, well, after I finish this, I can read some more on my Kindle. And so it's like a really interesting thing that's contributing to like my space is that my brain is accepting silence more than it normally does. Um,
Why do you
so
think
that's
it
really
is?
nice. Huh?
Why do you think that is?
Um, I don't know. I've always kind of had a problem with silence. I think it's just like a chance for because like my brain just clenches onto whatever it can. And when there's nothing there, it has a tendency to just go wild. It's the same reason that I used to not be able to fall asleep in the silence because I'd be more likely to have night terrors, where if I have something playing, then my brain can just be like, let's make a dream about this and not all the anxiety that's happening in your head. And which is why I used to sleep with Little Mermaid every single night.
Mm,
Um, but it I'm trying to get to a place where I can be in silence because I recognize it's better to not be constantly overstimulating myself.
mm,
Um, so that's something that I'm working on. But being in the silence with the Kindle, I'm like, I do like reading without all the noise and the talking and everything. I do like just sitting down and reading. So I can accept silence in that situation sometimes.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm practicing trying to transfer that over into the day to day and just being in the moment. So that's what I'm working on, I guess, is
Wow,
practicing silence. And my Kindle is my bestie right now. So
that's incredible.
yeah, I hadn't really thought about all that extra stuff until talking about it
Literally.
out loud. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's just so like intensely wise, I feel. I don't even know what to respond to it. Like accepting silence. Yeah, that's like the whole thing.
Hmm.
That's like the whole thing. And
It's
like
hard,
we're not trained to just sit or accept silence at all.
right? Which we
It's the
used
thing we
to,
have to
but
work at.
now we
Yeah.
can't. Yeah. It's
How do you think that's helping you as like a person, especially a person with ADHD?
um it's helping me slow down, but I still do have moments where I need to reel myself back in. Um and I don't know, there's things I do remember things better. So like this morning I was tempted to throw on like something to listen to while I buzzed around the house doing morning routine. But because I decided not to, I was like, well, if I don't put on, this thing, then as soon as I get done, then I can just read some more. I was kind of more present and I remembered some things that I needed to do in the morning that didn't feel so pressing or that didn't feel so overwhelming is a better word. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like normally it's like, oh man, I have all these things to do. But instead it was like, oh, well, I'm already doing this. I may as well do this next thing. Oh yeah, I also should do this. I may as well. And just kind of bopping around, doing those things that I need to do that I would normally either forget or just feel consumed by because I'm not overstimulated. So I think there's more space in my brain to both remember those things and accept them as just normal. Like, I feel like it's pretty ADHD and other like neurodivergent things to have such a simple task feel like a whole task when it's really just something as simple as put wet food in the cat's dish or refill the coffee maker. It's like those are simple,
Mm-hmm.
basic things, but when you're in the thick of like, especially overstimulation and you're tired and you've got all this other stuff going on, it's like those little things feel like so much. And it's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that right now.
Hmm.
Um, he can have dry food, but like it's not as good. It's better to have a handle on that and be able to do those small things. And like I surprised myself this morning because I saw that there was already coffee in the coffee maker. And I'm like, did that last night. I thought I just
You,
halfway did it. I thought I just like put water in the back, but I actually put the coffee grounds and clean out the filter. I'm like, wow, because I didn't have anything playing. I was just doing the morning stuff and getting ready to curl up with my Kindle, or I mean the evening stuff. And then yeah, so
yeah.
it's just it's interesting. I'm not perfect with it, but it is something that I'm exploring.
Well, what is perfection in it? The whole practice is of any kind of practice. The
Mm-hmm.
objective isn't to get to perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it is, defining that every single day, it is perfect. You've reached perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about reaching more perfection. It's about how can I perfect this more?
Mm-hmm.
Like for perfectionists, I don't like, I don't think it's, this is just my personal opinion and based off my own experience. Um, if you're a perfectionist, it doesn't work to just be like, oh, everything's perfect or nothing can be perfect. Like that doesn't work, that train of thought. So for me, I'm like, all right, this is perfect. My project today is perfect. How do I want it to be perfect tomorrow? Just
Mm-hmm.
redefining what actually perfect means. Um, because also a principle that I don't know if it's a Buddhist principle or what kind of principle it is, but that everything's already perfect the way that it is. There's no making anything more perfect. Um, and that's helpful for me to remember that, like, okay, well, if I have my default setting is to know that when something is perfect and when something is not perfect, then I want to, um, one, decide that what I've already done is perfect. And even if I don't believe it, if I can say it and I can choose to believe it in that moment. And then over time, I understand that, and I think I'm speaking from real time right now. Like I've been
Mm-hmm.
thinking about this for the last couple weeks, months, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and like trying to, because I have OCD also, which is basically fucking chronic perfectionism, you know, but I've been in recovery for OCD for about 4 years now. And I'm learning that a lot of it is like letting go of what I think perfect is. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason why what is happening right now can't be perfect. There's no reason why, because like one of my chores is to do the floors, like sweep the floors, and I choose that because I like to walk barefoot
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like crumbs on my feet. Obviously, that's a problem for my autism.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I haven't done it, and I've been being so irritated because I haven't done it in like a couple days because I have to like wipe off my feet before I get in bed. I don't like crumbs in the bed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but there's people that live on this planet who don't fucking do that, and they're just fine. So, and that life is perfect for them. So it can be perfect for me too, even if I'm having particular feelings about it, doesn't mean it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my preach about perfectionism and like the idea of being perfect. Because like you thought even just filling up the water of the coffee thing was perfect enough, but it turns out it was more perfect if you think about it. Right? So like what are we even using that? What are we using this term for?
It's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So like you were already way perfect before you were like, "Oh, I'm perfect now because I did this thing for myself yesterday."
Mm-hmm.
But it was perfect the whole time because you already did it.
That's very interesting
Isn't it?
way of thinking
It's a
about
real
it.
mind fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wild.
Hmm.
The last couple days have been an interesting type of perfect if we're going with that. I don't know if we ate something weird, but we've been having stomach issues and I've done nothing but tried to recover from that. And uh, so like the litter boxes need cleaning, but I've been really good. I'm trying to focus on the fact that like because I was feeling bad about the fact that I didn't clean them out last night,
Mm-hmm.
or the night before. And
Mm-hmm.
I was I'm trying to remember the fact that every single night this week up to when we got sick, I was on that thing. Like I cleaned it out every single night, even when I didn't feel like it. And I'm like, that's pretty perfect. So, I mean, the fact that because I haven't normally been able to keep up that trend because he poops so much. Um, so
Because what? I missed it.
he uses them so much.
Hmm.
But there's two of them and one of him. But I've also heard that you should do that anyway. Have like enough one per cat plus one is what I've heard. But
I think it
it's
depends. Like if your cat's a messy boy and
yeah.
like he likes a clean litter box and you can't get to it once or twice a
Hmm.
day, the second one,
Hmm. Yeah,
um,
it's definitely
yeah.
necessary for him, that's for sure.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I haven't always been able to get to it like every day, and that's why on my I included it on my 5 day challenge. And I was really proud of myself because like of all the things on the 5 day challenge, that and morning cups, which is a thing that I came up with where the previous night I set up our little tea tray and they'll have coffee and I will have tea and I have my little dish and then little creamer dish and we have this moment where before my partner leaves for work, we sit down and we have tea and coffee and I call them morning cups since it's not the same. And then we'll either listen to like a video together or just talk or whatever, and that will start the day. And setting that up the night before and doing litter boxes the night before have been like two things on my 5 day challenge that have been on there for the past couple weeks
mm.
that I've been really proud about keeping up because it makes a huge difference. Like setting those things up the night before, it's like a little gift for the morning version of ourselves. Because it's like, well, I don't want to get up out of bed, but at least I know that the morning cups are set. Like, at least I know I've got my cute little tea tray all prepared, and all I have to do is just press the two on the microwave and get my water going, and the coffee is already going to be brewing. Um, so I've got a little routine there, and I forgot how much little routines like that affect their morning, which I shouldn't because that's how we met. But
What do
I
you
don't
mean you
know.
shouldn't?
I mean, it's interesting that I forgot
Should we
how
be
much of an
auditing the
impact
fact that
that
you're
has.
judging past you for what you should and shouldn't be doing, ma'am? What
That's true. That's true.
do you mean you shouldn't?
I think it's interesting that I forgot that when that's literally our whole meeting was from a group of people that were looking for different morning routine aspects.
Yeah. Also,
But
your little teacup with your fucking background. How are you? Oh, you're so precious. I cannot
I
believe you're just
love
living the
it.
dream right now.
I know it's great.
Incredible.
And
Incredible.
I've got this fancy bread that we got. It's Jamaican spiced fruit bun is what it's called. And
Yum.
it's really tasty and it's very dense, so it goes well in the tea.
Mm. Oh, I have banana bread.
Ooh.
I made an underbaked banana bread, which I always am like, "Ugh, you fuck this up." But like underbaked banana bread is way better than overbaked, which I usually do.
Mm.
I'm gonna go get some right now because you're inspiring me.
I
Hold on.
love banana bread.
I'm also starving. So
Mm.
it was perfect. We're having
Yeah, that goes into our
coffee and
intro. You
cheese.
got to meet your human needs.
Yeah, yeah. And I cut it different. So I cut it in half and then put it in pieces so I can have a half a piece, which is
Mm.
nice.
I love that.
Yeah. And Julia's been eating it, which is making me so happy.
Julia has been?
Laura's sister.
Oh,
My last banana bread, nobody fucking ate it. And I was so annoyed I had to throw it away. And I
oh
also
no.
I wouldn't
What
want
a
it because it was
waste.
overbaked, to be fair.
Mm, I
But
love banana bread.
this one's a hit. So
So cool.
yeah.
We'll eat our fancy breads together.
Mm.
I was actually just thinking about banana bread because I realized like when I first tried it, I tried the heel because it was the first thing I cut into, and I was like, this really
Yeah.
isn't.
Mm-mm.
And then so I was like, well, I have the loaf. I may as well eat through it. And then I had a slice this morning and brought it in here and took a nibble. I'm like, this is like a different loaf. And I went back and I got a second slice in
It's also
preparation.
different as days go by. Like the
Mm,
fresh, like when I when it's baked and then it's cooling but still warm. I
mm-hmm,
love the slice, and then I'll put butter on it. Get
mm-hmm.
melty. But then after that, I want it in the fridge, or
Yeah.
I want it out for a little while. But I've been making this particular banana bread for probably like 3 or 4 years now.
Mm,
It's a vegan banana bread. Maybe I'll share the recipe. It's so easy. I
maybe.
don't, I don't use. I don't even need a recipe anymore because it's so
Mm-hmm,
easy and second nature. But this one has chocolate chips. I usually like to add walnuts too, so it's like a
mm-hmm,
solid breakfast.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish there were nuts in this because
Hmm.
it's so dense. I'd be surprised. Like I was thinking it would be like fruitcake, like good fruitcake.
Hmm.
Because that's got nuts, it's got fruit. Um, I love that Collins Street fruitcake. That's one thing I used
Mm.
to splurge on.
Really?
Comes in a big round tin, um, with like tacky Christmas decor on it, but I love it
Love that.
anyway.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, but yeah, I was actually thinking about banana bread because I'm like, well, the heel of the banana bread is really good. So I assumed it would be something like that, but I'm like, it's not
mm,
banana bread. Cut it some slack and enjoy the slices because they're delicious. And
I need to
hopefully,
microwave them. Putting butter on banana bread is like my top favorite thing.
yeah,
Um,
I love cold banana bread. I just like
mhm.
munch on that.
Can we circle back to you morning cups, which is
Hmm.
super adorable? So what is this? You just like have cups so that you can have some sort of morning beverage with your person?
Pretty much, yeah. So I have my fancy teacup and saucer, and then I also have this little German saucer that I found at our thrift store. And then I have a little creamer thing that I also got at the thrift store, and the matching thing there. And then I just have one of our like coffee cups, nothing too fancy, because that one's for them. And then in the evenings, I will set it up so that, and I have my little purple teapot that I actually bought in St. Louis on our trip at that little London tea room. I
Mm-hmm.
still have that, and that also gives me feelings. So I put water in
Mm-hmm.
that, and I set that up in the microwave on the evenings, and then I make sure the stove top's wiped off, and I have this little tea tray that we found. And we went to the Dollar Tree and got a little decorative wallpaper thing that's like this big. And then they helped me cut it and put it in this tray. So now it looks all fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have this intentional looking tray that I love, and I put that on the stovetop. I've got my thing in the microwave. I've got my cup, which I put a little round tea bag in, which I'm not normally a tea bag person, but there's this British black tea blend for like $3 at Walmart that I tried and I was surprised by. So I just plop one of those in there, flip it upside down so flies don't touch it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have their cup I flip upside down on the creamer pot. And then in the morning, and of course, set up the coffee. And then in the morning, all I have to do is press 2 minutes on the microwave, and the thing already brews. And then I will pour the tea and the coffee, and then put a little bit of milk in the little creamer thing. And then we'll just carry the whole thing over to our little TV tray in the living area, since we don't really have an official dining table. And then they'll sit in their chair where they usually smoke a bowl, and then I will sit in a little rolly chair with a pillow behind my back. And yeah, we just enjoyed that moment where they drink the coffee, I drink my tea, and sometimes there will be an Uncrustable. One or two of us will have, although I'm probably going to start having this fruit bun.
Mm-hmm.
um, I've noticed that I can't eat the same size breakfast I used to be able to. Like I used to be able to have like a toast with nut butter trilogy seeds, banana slices. I tried eating all of that and I'm like, this is one toast, but it's a loaded toast and it made me feel very uncomfortable. So I'm having to
Mm.
like figure out what breakfast works best for me. And I'm finding a lighter breakfast just seems to be what I can handle in the mornings now. But yeah, just having that moment, sometimes listening to a little news type video, usually a goofy news type video and not straight news. And just talking about what the day might be and just kind of existing. And it just sets a really nice tone for the day. And then when they get up to leave, I go and I rinse out all the dishes and flip them upside down so I don't have to worry about breaking my dishwasher, which is a thing I've done.
Mhm.
Um, and it's also like the intention behind it, the intention of the routine, both at night and then in the morning and then after the case. And it's way different than just rolling out of bed and dragging yourself over to do your job. It's like it's like a sweet little intention type thing. And I feel like you don't even need a partner to enjoy it. Like if for some reason they were traveling, like this morning, for example, I still had my morning cup, even though they are passed out because they're still getting over the sickness.
Mhm.
I still set it up every night just in case. And if it's just me doing it, then it's just me doing it. And it's just like a
Worth
little
it.
moment of zen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am I've been so hyper independent my whole life that I'm noticing that I tend as I like let go of that and let other people care for me. I notice that I can be pretty rigid about like if I'm going above and beyond for someone and I don't feel like it's reciprocated or like I don't know, I just get like I don't know what the word is. Maybe you know it, but it's like maybe I can get resentful because these people
Mhm.
don't have these practices that I have had to work so hard for. Even if it's just like, oh, I opened a package to eat something and then I put it back in a way
Hmm.
where when I get it again, it's not fucking stale or they're not crumbs
Right.
everywhere. Or if I drop a crumb, I pick it up. Like I just can get so irritated that people don't um do these details for themselves and that I
Hmm.
do them, I'll do them for them because I love them or care about them or I don't know, I would do it for a stranger.
Hmm.
But for some reason, eventually it turns into like, why am I doing this job for them? Why can't they learn it? Why can't they do this for themselves? Like I'm only doing it temporarily to teach them when
Hmm.
really it's like something I could just do as
Right.
part of it all.
So I guess your struggle is keeping in mind the differences between your experience and what kind of comes second nature to you, but still weighs on you after a while once it's just you doing it. And that person's experience where they don't even think about those things. And I guess I can see how that would come off as like inconsiderate, or like they're putting the burden on you. I can see where you're coming from with that. I think I see it, and I know you two also see it as like in the beginning as acts of service, where you're just doing those things like because that's just what you do and that's just how you are. And then for other
Mm,
people, they might not even think of those things, like you said, for themselves, let alone for another
or anyone
person.
else, yeah.
Right. And so then it's like, well, I've been doing it. Why aren't you taking my example?
Mhm.
But I think also sometimes it needs to be said out loud for certain people. Like, I guess it just depends because I kind of do something similar where there's things that I get joy, little things that I get joy out of doing
Mhm.
for my person. And I usually don't resent them for not doing the same exact things if I've never told them I would like you to do these things for me because of the fact that A, they know there are things that I enjoy doing, just little sweet moments that make me tap into my little housewife self that there's buried in there
Mhm.
sometimes. And then also there's little things that they do for me that I don't do, that I wouldn't consider doing. Sometimes it's just like a slightly different love language, slightly different acts of service. But if it comes to it, um, I I usually, if it's like, I always do this thing for you, I would love it if you do it for me too. And usually if I have that conversation, it's like, oh, yeah, no problem. I thought that that was just something that you enjoy doing, which sometimes it is, but it's like, I actually don't loved or I used to like doing this and now I don't like doing it as much for whatever reason. Do you think you can help me with doing that sometimes? And it's usually like, yeah, I'll try. And sometimes
Hmm.
they forget, obviously, because we all do.
This is a new
But
practice
then,
also.
yeah, but then when they do it, I always go out of my way. I'm like, you did the thing. Oh my God, thank you. And they're like, and then they also are trying to, a newer thing is like acknowledging whenever I do little stuff around the house or whatever. He's like, oh, the floors are clean.
Mhm.
Or, oh, you did a thing, or, oh, whatever. And so it's just become a practice to like point out little stuff around the house. I think about times like when you used to work in the same place and they would just say nothing because I'd be on a call and they would bring a drink and set it on my desk and then go back. Or one of us would pass the other and we just scratch the shoulder. And it's like, I keep those things in mind because it's like, I know that there is a love language there, and it just doesn't
Mhm.
always look the same between us. And so that's my reminder to like vocalize because sometimes it's just different. And sometimes you don't think about those things. Like we can walk past the same piece of trash on the floor several times. If my mother was here, my mother would be like, just pick it up. It's not hard. And it's like, no, it's not, but it's just not something we register. It's in the
And it's not
background.
priority to our brain.
Right, exactly. So I think that's the
Yeah.
main thing is the bitterness and resentment is real. Like I can see how that can fester with
Hmm.
differences between people's natures, but it's helpful to remember that there are differences between people's natures. And instead
Yeah.
of like being frustrated that there is that difference, that they're not automatically like you or picking up on what you're doing, but that maybe it's vocalized and practiced. Because that's also freaking hard sometimes. Like finding words for something like that when it's like, just know, just be better. It's not that hard.
Just be better. Yeah.
Just be
Yeah. I
better.
know. I
That's
know.
a
I
running
know.
joke between us is we'll just be like, God, just be better. It's not that hard, knowing that it's the opposite.
It's
But
literally the hardest.
we say
Yeah.
it out loud to remind ourselves, like, this is silly. This is obviously it's hard. Obviously it takes more patience.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's it's one of those things that you have to work on, and we sometimes still have to do that too. Also, I know I drag a lot of things back to my relationship, but I've just that's how I process some things is because
No,
I've
it's
been
helpful. Well, I learned by example. Here's another I was going to say is I learned by example. So, and I know that I have a default setting that thinks everyone is like me.
yes,
They have this deluded thought that like if I can learn by example, everyone can, even if it's not their main style.
yes.
And it just is not like that. Like I just am, you know what? I've been doing this 40-day shame challenge. Have I told you about this?
I think you mentioned it.
I've been trying to do it. You do it for 40 days, and it's this phrase that you say 108 times. It takes like 13 or 14 minutes. I actually have it recorded so I can listen to it and say it in my mind. But like basically, and it is very transformative. I learned it in my
You say
meditation
108 times?
108 times. I'll
That's
say
a
it for you in a second.
mantra.
It's a mantra, yeah. So
Yeah, because like you
basically,
can trace a mala beads for that.
yeah,
That's 108 is very specific, like usually
exactly.
for mantra. That's interesting.
It's part of my meditation training, teacher training.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like part of it is, and so like I'll say it for you. The phrase is, if I can remember, for all evil deeds in the past created by my body, speech, and mind, from beginningless greed to hatred and delusion, I now know shame and I repent them all. So it's
Wow.
basically acknowledging to yourself and your spirit that um you acknowledge everything, even if you can't think of all these examples where you have created shame for yourself or felt shame in some way or been deluded or have the wool over your eyes and feeling bad about that. It kind of like acknowledges it all. it's a repentance thing, right? And like,
Yeah, I was like, that sounds Catholic, but I get
I know, yeah. Isn't it interesting coming from a yoga
it's
perspective?
really interesting hearing those words come out of your mouth, but also because on the one hand, I do see where it's going. It's just also interesting because I remember when we used to do our meetings and someone in our group was like, if I need to clean the house, I just imagine that someone is coming over. And then I shame myself into doing it. And then we had this whole discussion about you're like, I am not shame motivated because I'm not usually ashamed of things. So like I go the opposite direction. I cannot shame myself or I won't do it. And now it's like it shows that like as we grow, we our mindsets shift because now it's like, well, I'm going to intentionally use the shame to my advantage, kind of like how that person was talking about, just not as a deep a level.
Hmm.
Um, but that's very interesting and also sounds very Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I just it's so interesting.
Not either. And well, the idea of repentance, I understand. Like,
Hmm.
basically, and all the religions are fucking based off basically the same thing.
Sure.
Like Laura's Christian,
Hmm.
and I resonate with Christianity. I resonate with Catholicism.
Hmm.
It's really about like if you take the organization out of those religions and go to the base. Also, my original study in religion is Egyptian yoga. So that's where the base of my religion starts
Oh,
is,
interesting. Egyptian yoga.
yeah, Egyptian yoga um is apparent, and I have a textbook about it. Did I ever tell you about the person? We're going on and on here.
I know.
Did I ever tell you about the person I met on the subway who was meditating? Like it was one of those like moments where I was like, oh, this is supposed to happen because this person was meditating on the subway. He locked eyes with me and then immediately started talking. And it was a busy day too. And then eventually someone got up and left behind me and he was like, have you ever heard of Egyptian yoga? He just immediately started talking to me about it. And he was like, get this book. And then we like exchanged numbers and became like my yoga mentor.
Wow.
Yeah, we like, and we would have like 5, 6 hour sessions on the phone talking about yoga, particularly Egyptian yoga, just in general. And he had been a
Wow.
yoga, he was like 60 years old. He's like a 60-year-old black man with dreads, just meditating on the train. And he was like, get
That's
this book. And I'm
amazing.
like, you got it. I'm getting the book. And so I did, and I studied it, and I'm not even finished with it. But what I've learned, and I like took notes about it, and I'm like, oh, what? This is crazy. And then, and also when I met Laura, she has a big connection with Egypt in general. And so I can say things to her about Egyptian yoga. And she's like, yeah, that's
Ah,
a whole thing. And I'm like, okay.
you got a
So
little amateur Egyptologist. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. And so like Egyptian yoga is where like Taoism gets their principles. Like it's apparently like the first religion that is documented or
Ah,
whatever.
wow, that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yep. And it's the whole thing is, and this it ties into Buddhism a lot also. Like Buddhism gets their principles from Egyptian yoga also.
Hmm.
Um is that like basically your heart is God. Everyone's God. Everyone's heart is God. And so
Hmm.
like when God speaks, that's the truth. So when you speak, that's the truth. So it lets us know that like the power that we have is in our words. What you
Hmm.
say out loud will manifest, and what's in your heart will come out of your face and make it real. So if what's in your heart is like anger, deceit, shame, that's what's going to
Hmm.
come out, and that's what your life is going to manifest around that. So changing what's in your heart effectively, and you can do that by praying to God or whatever your thing is. And I've
Hmm.
been studying more about prayer also, which is so interesting. Um, anyway, all of that to say that why did I get into this? Why did I start talking about Egyptian yoga?
Oh, because of the shame, the
Oh,
40
right. Yeah,
days of
yeah.
shame.
Yes. And shame is a feeling. It's a low level energy field, frequency, whatever you
Mm.
want to call it. And it is completely useless other than to give us information about something that we need to heal.
Mm.
And then without that shame, you just move through life in a higher vibration naturally without doing anything except for relieving yourself from a feeling
Hmm.
that doesn't need to be on us. It can be around and we can see it, but we don't have to identify with it and hold it in and then project it. because that's really what
Mm,
we're doing. Like, especially 9 to 5 people, you're a 9 to 5 person. Um, Shame is the main ruler keeping people in that 9 to 5 thing. Like, say you want to get a new job, but someone is like, yeah, like you could get a better job. And then that activates your shame around your self-worth and how good you do your job.
mm,
So, and then that is tied into self-worth. Like, well, I'm not even worth another job. Obviously, this person sees right through me. I'm not smart enough to get a better paying job. You know what I mean? So there's all that.
mm,
So doing this shame thing, and I haven't been able to do it for 40 days straight. I've had, I have a tracker that has it on there and I'll get a few days and it's just taken me so long to weave it into, and I've known about this for a year. It's taken me so long to weave it into my morning routine. I finally recorded myself saying it. I finally have a setup where my voice recorder thing is on my phone. I can sit
mm,
down, I can play it. I have my earbud. Like it's just taking me, the ADHD way of being like, well, I don't have my earbuds here, which means I have to get up and go get it, which means if I get up, I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to leave the house even, and I won't
mm,
get back to this.
mhm.
So placing everything where it needs to go so I can sit down and be like, wow, it's all here. I guess I have no excuse but to sit here for 13 minutes and listen to myself say this mantra.
Yes. Yes, it's very similar to my morning cups. Like I set it up so that I will force myself to get up because I can visualize it all being right there together from the
Mm-hmm.
previous night.
A
I
little
mean, it's
gift.
not like the religious experience, but it's like it's an ADHD hack really, is putting everything together so you don't have an excuse. Because like sometimes ADHD brain is like gifted with excuses. Even if
Yep.
it doesn't verbalize it, it can find some just ambiguous excuse that can keep you from doing a thing. So that's in itself is great. So I'm just out of curiosity, when you miss a day, are you resetting the 40 or are you just
Yeah.
collectively, okay.
Yeah. And I've not gone past 3 days. So like literally for the whole year. And I
Mm,
don't try it every single morning because there's also been weeks where I've not been able to even meditate or do anything. Like I've not been well mentally for like a year.
mhm.
So trying to like weave this shit in is the most intentional I've really had to be about living my life.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Does Laura have anything that she does for like 15 minutes in the mornings?
She's also getting back into routines. Yeah, she does a little Bible study thing. She used to go for a run. It's been a really just fucking rough year of transition. And like Laura and I came together and we were just like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
trying to keep our separate things going while also building a relationship, also moving in together and doing this whole thing. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
so much. So I've had to make some choices like, okay, even though, because I know I'm easily influenced, I want to flow into something else because life is so draining sometimes. But her habits are not mine. And I have a lot of habits that I need to be well. And so I'm little by little being like, oh, yeah, that. And like I didn't have access to a bike for a while. So I couldn't do that, which was huge for my mental health.
Yeah, I remember.
That's
That
rolled
was
back
rough.
in. Yeah. And like I have a yoga routine that only takes me 10 minutes that I really like doing. It's so efficient. It makes me so strong every single day. So I've finally done that. And I did that because I finally joined Facebook again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, peer pressure from somebody. I can't remember who, but so I finally did it. And then I started following these yoga people and now so there's just like so much information that is easy for me to look at, like visuals. So I saw
Mm-hmm.
this one and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking take this. And then because I know how I learn, I not only had to take it and study it, but I had to write it down in words, then read the words, and then make another chart. You know what I mean? I have to do things like 5 times so that I can do it without looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've been doing that. And now when I go in to do yoga, I'm like, all right, I'm not just going to wing it for 25 minutes because in my mind, if I don't do it for 25 minutes, it's like not a good workout. I'm like, that's
Oh,
ridiculous too. I know. So once I did that routine and it only took me 10 minutes, I was like, oh shit, okay, well,
it's
let me make this
approachable.
15 minutes and then I'll do some extra stuff. And then I will do I made 2 morning routines. One is a full sit, which can take 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours if I get up in time. If I don't get up, then I have a much more condensed version that gets me all the fucking little points that I need to do.
That's
And yeah,
huge.
I just started that. It took me forever to get those going. I knew that's what I needed, but I have it like I've been working on this environment so that it's like suitable for me
Hmm.
and my autisms, you know?
Backup plans
My,
are huge.
yeah.
Like that with any neurodivergence, I've also found like just having that, even just knowing that it's there is huge because when we get ambitious, and we do get ambitious when we're like, I'm gonna do all this stuff. And then we aren't able to do all of this stuff like we know based on what time we have or what energy we have. We just know this is going to be a day where I can't get that stuff done. And so it's tempting to just be like, well, screw it. Like, I'm not going to be able to do all the stuff on my list. Why bother? So having a backup that's like,
Mhm.
okay, this is not going to be a day to get all those things done, but you can still stay on track and do just these things. That is huge. That is a skill that you have to build, and it's really hard, especially when you're in the thick of it. So like that deserves a pat on the back that you were able to condense that.
Yeah. And I used Notion and I used a bunch of things. I used AI. I was
Mhm.
like, can you just, here's all what I want to do in the morning. Can you tell me how long it will take and what time to do it at? And of course, it didn't know. So it would give me a thing and then I'd be like, all right, this actually needs to be, it forced me to think about, oh, how long do I sit for? How long, what do I do? And it brought
Mhm.
me back to my favorite morning times, which was when I lived by myself and I woke up at whenever I woke up early and I had Dave and we did a little morning routine together, do the dishes, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, and then I would sit and I wouldn't move from my sitting spot until it was time, till I was done. And that's when I would start my day. And sometimes it would be 7, sometimes it would be 9, sometimes it'd be 11. Sometimes I put myself back
Mhm.
to bed because I didn't sleep enough or something. And that was all, and my schedule allowed for all that. And it still does, but it's just so hard to get back to that. So I'm
Yeah.
using that as a reference experience of how I want to set up this and like what would I change. And I didn't scrutinize about it back then because I was alone. I had my own surroundings. I had nobody to think about other than myself.
Mhm.
So, um,
So now it's trickier to get back on track because you have a whole other person. Um,
a whole new
the
environment.
reason and a whole new environment and so many changes over the past year that
Hmm.
you're
And I had a
adapting and
stable
growing through.
environment long
Hmm.
enough to get a routine because like if I see the place that I'm going to be, I'm like, okay, there it is. But if I don't have that place, I have to make up a new place every single time, which is something I can do, but it just being conscious of it.
Takes a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the reason that I asked earlier about if Laura had like a 15-minute thing that she did was I was wondering if you could time your 108, your shame session, with
Mm.
something she does so that she can kind of help keeping you accountable. Like, let's do the thing. You do your thing, I'll do my thing, whether
Hmm.
it's her Bible study or whatever. And then it's kind of like an intentional set of moment. It's kind of like channeling the same thing as our morning
Hmm.
cups, but for this thing that helps you in your way. And
Yeah.
maybe that can help you go past the 3 days. Even if it's not the full 40, it could be a good practice and also lean into what you were saying about helping, like keeping your own separate things while keeping, um, giving yourself time in your relationship.
Hmm. Yeah. And she's been trying to get back on a morning thing also. She's very
Hmm.
receptive to like, let's try this thing so we can both, whatever. And then we
Hmm.
wake up and we see what happens.
Yeah, I think that might be good for both of you, and
Yeah.
one of you might be more able to do it than the other one day, and you can be accountability buddies in that. So,
Yeah, I've been explaining that also because I'm like, if I see you do something, it triggers me to do a thing.
hmm.
And I like to rely on that. I mean,
Hmm.
I think that we have to rely on it until we have a habit, right? So if she's not doing the thing, it's like, well, I have to find another trigger then. So, and
Yeah.
she's been going through it also. She has a lot of changes. So it's been just interesting the last week to be like, all right, what the fuck is all this? What am I
Hmm.
doing? And is this it? Because I would love to be like, all right, this is it. Just live.
Yeah.
Because so much of my last, honestly, 5 years has been like panicking about what's gonna happen. How's it gonna
Yeah.
be? But it can just be like this.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And it goes back into what you're saying before about everything being perfect in its own way.
Hmm. Yeah, that's exactly why. Because I'm like, this has to be perfect. If I
Hmm.
know the principle that everything is perfect right now, then this has to be the crumbs on the floor, this unfolded laundry here, the fact that I'm tired, the
Hmm.
fight from 2 weeks ago, like all of these things are perfect.
Hmm.
Period. The branding of it is really critical. And like I said, even if we don't believe it in the moment, like the saying it and the hearing ourselves say it, our
Hmm.
brains do believe it. Our brains by default, they don't have this like nature where they're like where it's conspiring against us. Like it really is just like beep bop boop, I'm a computer. So like if you
Hmm.
say this is perfect, your brain's like, okay, got it, moving on to the next thing. Oh, that's perfect too. Okay, moving on to the next thing. It's like looking for problems and to make you safe.
Yes, which is huge to remember too.
Yeah. So the reminder that like this is perfect. I don't need to think about this. And I've been good at catching myself in negative thought patterns
Mm.
much quicker than normal. And because I now have a practice of what I'm going to do when I catch myself
Hmm.
and what I'm going to say. Like, we're not doing this. I'm not spending hours thinking about this again. We didn't like it last night. We're not doing it tonight. Instead, we
Hmm.
breathe.
Instead,
Period.
we breathe.
Instead, we breathe.
I love that. Well,
Now, shall we?
yeah, on that note,
You know what's good about us yapping for the first hour or whatever, if we do that, is that if people don't need planning and they just want to like hear us talk about the shit, that's also fine and cool.
mhm. And we usually end up coming away with something too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, this is, I am pulling up a thing. Do you, by the way, happen to have the stream open with chat just in case we get
Yes, I
someone?
do. Yep.
Perfect. Cool, cool. Well, I
Have you seen
suppose,
any of the screen grabs that I've used as the um front page
hmm,
for the stream at all?
yes, I have.
Oh, you have? What do you think?
Sometimes they give me a little kick, and sometimes I'm like, of all the ones, you little
Mm.
troll. Um, all right,
Mm.
let me screen share real
Mm.
quick.
Ooh.
And there. All right.
So my mom's
So,
born in 1958. How old is she
67. Has she had a birthday yet? Oh yeah, this is
today?
her birthday.
Yeah.
67 today. My mother was also born in 1958. That is the only reason that I knew right away.
Yo, no way.
She just asked me the other day. She's like, "How old am I?" And I'm like, "Beep boop boop."
All right. Oops, hold on. So my mom's born in 19. There we go. Um, wow, I did not know that our moms were born on the same day. That's so
I
crazy.
know. We've known each other for years and we never found that out.
You said 68?
58.
Oh, 50,
Oh, the age, 67.
67. Um, she's probably going camping today. My brother Ian already started up a nice little group chat. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, me and my mom we're not on a good talking
Hmm.
thing since my Uncle Mike died.
Hmm. Yeah, I know you guys had a weird relationship and background as well. But I'm glad that Ian is kind of keeping you guys in the loop at least,
Yeah,
like a
he
bridge.
understands more the dynamic between me and her because they don't have the same dynamic, of course.
Yes, I
And why
remember.
would we? Yeah, so whatever. I'm not letting it ruin my life or my day.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. I had a similar thing yesterday where I've been having this little moment with my mother where we each watch an episode of Downton Abbey the previous night at some point, and then the next
Hmm.
day or after the episode, depending on when we watch it, we'll talk about it before moving on to the next one. And I've been sick, so I was really looking forward to doing that yesterday to make up for not having been able to do it the night before and the day before. And
Mm.
when I talked to her on the phone, I heard something that brought up a lot of old feelings, and it almost ruined my day. but I didn't let it. I just tried not to focus on it and then redirect that energy into other stuff. And then I had another stomach bout that put me back in bed. But I
Mm,
did actively try not to let it ruin the day. So very interesting that both kind of got a weird thing going on
yeah, I think
at
we've
the
both
same
gotten
time.
a little better control over our relationship with our mothers, particularly.
Mhm. Yes, for
Um,
sure.
which is literally so fucking helpful for everyone involved.
Yes, yes. It's also nice, even though we have such different relationships with our mom, it's nice that we're able to talk through some of the similarities when we have them
Hmm.
or the effect that they have.
Yeah, word.
Well, we shall go to our planning meeting now that we've got an hour in with our morning yap. So this is an ADHD planning meeting. We show up for ourselves and also ADHD doesn't have to be the exact thing. It's mostly for neurodivergence. We want to help create a clear weekly plan and commit to our next steps. We want to use visual tools, keep a supportive vibe, and add real structure. The huge thing is practicing mastery through consistency. So sometimes we don't start exactly on time, but we always make sure that we come. And becoming an on-time person kind of comes with that as well. Even if it's not right down to the minute, we want to be the type of people that still show up. And on time can be a state of mind. I feel like for us, at least, that seems to be the case.
Hmm.
As long as we still are here and we're ready to not cut into it, we still want to give our full energy to it, even if we show up a little later, then I feel like that's still on time.
Hmm.
So we want to build time management skills. We want to prevent burnout and, build recovery tools. We want to come up with realistic, doable plans like what Michelle did with her backup plan and create just space for joy, like we talked earlier. So we already did kind of like the catch up and the how was our week and the gratitudes. But we can still do quick intros. My name is Scarlett. I'm in the general Midwest. I identify as pan-romantic and gray ace. And uh,
Ooh, pan-romantic.
yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
changing to that instead of pansexual because
Hmm.
I'm not a very sexual person in nature.
Hmm.
So I think I might start with pan-romantic.
Yeah, and
And
romantic,
sometimes the
that's
gray
about the
ace
same
is
thing.
is demi also. Sometimes
Yeah,
it switches to pan demi, but just go back and forth on it.
beautiful.
What about you?
Well, my name's Michelle, and I live in Brooklyn, and I am a meat popsicle today and every day. Happy to be here.
Love it. I love that. I never know what you're going to say for the identity, and I love it.
No, me either. Never know.
Just winging it.
That's a
Um,
Fifth Element reference, by the way.
it was a what?
Fifth Element reference. It's my one of my
Oh,
faves.
Fifth Element. Is that a
Negative. I am
book?
a meat popsicle. Fifth Element. It's Bruce Willis and
Oh, it's a
uh,
movie.
what's the name? Luke Perry's actually in it for a minute, which is fun. Chris Tucker
I
and
vaguely
Mila
recognize these as manly
Jovovich.
actors.
She was in. First of all, you need to fucking watch this movie. I am ashamed right now. I need to do my shame challenge because I'm so ashamed that you don't know this
What's
movie.
Bruce Willis makes me think action movie. Is this an
Pretty
action
actiony.
movie?
A little
Oh,
bit. A little bit. It's a future movie. It's religious. It's not, it's like, I don't know how to explain it right now.
that's okay. I'll look into it after the meeting. Speaking of sharing media, remind me when we're not live. There's a book I wanted to share just in case and see how
Mhm.
you felt about it, but I'll wait
Hmm.
until after because I
Okay.
don't know if it's going to be good or not. And if it's not, I don't want to share it with the world.
Okay. Got
So,
it.
um, anyway, so tips for a successful planning meeting. We want to honor the moment and set the tone. So we want to make sure that we focus on our rituals, like we talked about, for clarity, alignment, and caring for future you. We want to be present. We want to curate the space, so setting the vibe as needed. I've got my Downton vibe, and Michelle's going for a cozy vibe today. Um, and then we want to handle basics like food, stretching, hydration, bathroom breaks. I'll probably take one of those here in a bit.
Hmm.
And grab whatever tools you use, whether that's pens and notebooks or laptop calendar. Sometimes we use pen and paper, sometimes we use our Notion template. Michelle, if you could put those, the website and Notion template in the chat, that'd be great.
I already did it, my lady.
You are so good. And then, yeah, just use the resources that work for you. So, um, we do this in 4 sections. We do a 20-minute brain dump, which is where we focus on the present and getting everything out that's currently taking up space in our brain. Then we focus on the last week. We do reflective questions for 10 minutes. And then we transition into the future with our top 20, and we pull things out from the brain dump and reflective questions to prioritize for the week. And then the last section is 10 minutes to add things to our calendar and kind of commit things as needed and account for things we might not have previously. So we will start with our next section or our first section here, which is our brain dump. And we've got our calendar or our timer here, which doesn't count seconds, but it will change for the minutes as long as I don't pause it and forget. Um, So we'll take 20 minutes for the brain dump. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just it can be lists, blurbs, paragraphs, a combination of any of those. And we'll clear those things out so that we can move forward and prioritize them as needed. So we'll take 20 minutes, go on mute, and we'll come back.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, that's time. How do we do?
Find my screen. Pretty good. I finished my brain dump kind of early, so I started doing one of the things because it's something I've been wanting to do.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what I was doing. I'm making these little cards because one of the things that I like to do that helps me
Hmm.
change my habits is for language hack, right? Because
Mm.
things like I want, I need mean a lack of. It means you're acknowledging there's a lack of and
Hmm.
scarcity. So, and whenever I catch myself saying I want, I know that that's like a lacking statement. I'll say I choose or I have, I can, I get to.
Mm.
Like, I want to go to sleep. Well, I get to go to sleep and sleep well.
Hmm.
I choose to go to sleep and sleep well. It's like corny things that are like sensationalized, but it literally, like going back to what I was saying about Egyptian yoga and like what we say out of our mouths, it literally does matter.
Hmm. I love
That's what
that.
I'm doing. Yeah, because I need to train these two little ones here how to speak so that we can all have good practices around it.
Yeah, that sounds great, honestly. And sometimes it's sensationalized for a reason.
Yeah. And it depends on the person it comes from. If it comes from a person who you like, if it comes from Tony Robbins, I don't fucking want to hear that from him. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
like ribbons. Remember
Tiny
that one?
ribbons. Exactly.
Katie Ribbons.
I think of that every time.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, how was yours?
Not too bad. I got some stuff listed out, and I wound up using the writing space to talk to my body a bit and remind myself rather that whatever I'm through on the outside, they're probably fighting a war on the inside just to keep me alive. So, I
Mm.
took a second to acknowledge and appreciate him for that, and um, also acknowledge some of the ways that I can do better in the future in handling some of that stuff.
What's one thing you
So,
came up with, if you want to share?
for one, I took an edible earlier this weekend and it was way too high, apparently. Side question, do edibles get stronger with time?
Sometimes
Okay,
it
I think that
depends.
happened with
If
this
it's
one.
infused, so like when a tincture,
Hmm.
a tincture is a concentrate, it's a concentrate. So when I was making that and testing that out, and like going through education for cannabis coaching in general, originally I thought that the shelf life would be 6 months and then it gets weaker, but I based that off of one person telling me the thing.
Hmm.
Um, but like in my experience, I found that they can get stronger. I think it depends on how they're stored and if it's a gummy, if it's infused or if it's made that way. If it's made that way and it takes like an hour to kick in or whatever, that's different than infused, usually hits almost right away.
Mm.
I think an infused one can get stronger. I don't know why. I can't remember like in my brain.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, these are gummies and they do take longer to take effect, but they're quite old and it seems that they got stronger. I'm sure my tolerance is also lower, but it seems to be the case that even when they were already old and I was taking them a little bit more regularly, that they were still stronger than original. But either way, I took one gummy that was like 10 milligrams and it leveled me. And I got the real bad spinnies. And I also it was right around the time when my stomach started acting up. So I had to go to the bathroom more and I was struggling to move. And so I needed help just to get to and from the bathroom. And I slipped a couple times and wound up like, nope, don't get me up. I got to stay on the floor for a minute because the room is spinning and my vision is blurring.
mm,
And so it was an experience because I was kind of hoping it would just relax me, relax my body. And I just thought it would be a nice time. but it was not a nice time. And it was very tempting to um, get frustrated that it was such a different experience and that I had no control whatsoever. Like, I was not enjoying it at all. But I today am trying to focus on, well, how are we going to do better? We're going to make sure that we do not a full gummy for one. We're going to make sure we have plenty of food and water, and we're going to make sure that the rest of the body feels good to a degree, at least internally. If not physically, if like there's muscle aches and pains, that's fine. But if anything is gurgling in the tummy, we're not doing this. Um, and or if there's any kind of like frequent bathroom trips for whatever reason earlier in the day, we're not gonna play that. So I'm gonna try to be more aware of my body before doing an edible next time. And that's kind of what I was telling my body, like, thank you for getting me through that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I put you through it,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't listen to you ahead of time and I paid the price, but thanks for
I
helping
can
me
give you
get
some
through the
more
night.
insight on this. So
Mm-hmm.
there's other factors with cannabis because it depends on your every day. Sometimes by the hour, it can change how it affects you. So the other factors are food, all right? So diet, exercise. Um, if you're not feeling like maybe as depressed or not depressed, or maybe you don't have as much anxiety, it might hit you more. It's not medicating you. So like, and if you're taking them regularly, like say you're taking them nightly or every other nightly, eventually if that's recurring, then your body, yeah, that your tolerance for it will be different.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a factor. But for uh it's so hard to talk. I haven't talked about this stuff in like such a long
I
time.
know.
But like if I wake up and I am moody or if I have pain, I can smoke and it could just not hit me really or not hit me for very long because it's
Mm-hmm.
medicating me in that way. Edibles, honestly, gummies, I don't fucking like gummies. I don't like when people take them. I like despise when someone is like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take a gummy." And like for these reasons specifically, they're so
Mm-hmm.
unpredictable, they're hard to dose. Even if you buy it from the same we've had this conversation before when I was encouraging you to like medicate with cannabis when you were like, "Oh, I'm taking gummies." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's talk about this."
Mm-hmm.
Because getting them from the same person doesn't even mean it's the same. Say you get it from a dealer or dispensary and it's the
Mm-hmm.
same brand. Okay, you've got that down, but that doesn't mean it's the same batch. And with gummies, the way that it works is if it's not infused, and like, okay, so you have the gelatin with the gummies, and then you add the cannabis in. Even if you mix it all the way, that doesn't mean that it's mixed and each gummy has the same exact dose in it. So
Mm-hmm.
sure, they're all 10 milligrams, but like that's not how moving liquid together can work all the time, especially if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know who made it, you don't know what their process is. It's just super unpredictable. Nobody knows what 10 milligrams is. Nobody knows what 50 is. So like if you go to another brand and do 10 milligrams, that could be their 50 milligrams. And like, yes, there's ways to measure, but there's not really many regulations on brands coming. Like it's just too unpredictable. I'd rather deal
Mm-hmm.
with the straight flower, make my own concentrate, and then go from there. Gummies are way too unpredictable. It's just it, and I wouldn't put this on you at all. You were only doing what you thought was regular and normal for you. And you were considering a lot of factors, right? You don't take
Mm-hmm.
edibles willy fucking nilly, like you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You really do. And you do know your body, and you know your body a little more every single day. I've seen it happen. So I don't want you to put anything like that on yourself, like, oh, I fucked up in this way. And like, yes, thank you, body, for taking care of me. Thank you for all the messages. But please be careful with being like, okay, I won't do that next time. Next time I want to do this because that might not happen next time if you take a 10 milligram gummy, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact that they were old, you can't put any of that on you because of that alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lesson for me here would be like, okay, I'm only taking edibles that I know where they came from. I know the date. I know um, that I ate 3 meals in that. So this is how it can affect me. I feel, like you have to go through the checklist every single time. Be like, well, how do I feel? And like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're having a new experience, then is about logging, taking note, moving on. And then if that happens
Mhm.
again, you can come back to this and be like, what's the pattern here? What was
Mhm.
happening that day? Did my partner get in an accident that day? And then I was different because of that? Or, you know what I mean? Like those things. Did I not have coffee? Did I not blah, blah, blah? So we have to ask ourselves all these things instead of just being like, well, I'm going to change what I do next time because that won't help you with any patterns,
Mhm.
right? It's
It's
only going
true.
to just be like, I'm using this one experience to control literally how I take all medicine.
Mm.
So, my first unsolicited advice would be don't fucking do edibles. They're terrible. Get something that you can dose better. A gummy is stupid and I don't trust them, period.
Well, I should probably set up a hi hello meeting with you
Mm, yeah,
because
we can talk more for sure.
my body aches have been getting really bad lately, and I'm trying to do it like the normal ways, like trying to do more yoga, work myself up that way. And I know it's not going to be like an immediate change, but I
Hmm.
would love to see if I can find something to manage the pain without, getting too high or anything like that. Just something in the day to day because
To
it's,
take the edge off. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So maybe I'll
And
have a little
also,
hi hello meeting with you.
yeah, we should do that because also consider that you have been connecting more with your body, which means that you are able to feel things more. So if you took an edible and you felt things more, you can
Hmm.
also blame yourself for being like, well, I am more connected with my body. Things that I wasn't able to feel before, I can now feel.
Hmm.
And now I feel how intense an edible can be.
Yeah,
Maybe it's been
there's
that intense the whole time, but you weren't connected to like this part of your body where you're feeling this way. And you've been really intentional about connecting with your body. So that's something to consider too.
Yeah, I have interesting findings that I can share with you off call about this whole experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can move forward, but I do want to circle back to that with you.
I'll send
Do
you a link
you,
so you can actually just book the time with me, and that
yeah,
way we can do it because I'll procrastinate on it for sure.
sure, sure.
And I
I think
have
that
my
would be
new
great.
little link set up. My new booking system is pretty awesome. There's things that I don't like about it, but the fact that I can just be like, boom, here you go. And I have certain things set up. It's interesting that you bring that up because I was just being like, what am I doing with Hi Hello? And
Yeah,
I'm obviously a part of higher healing now, but I just don't know where I want to go with it because I'm not making any product, but I'm still coaching from time to time.
right. Yeah, my person even mentioned it the other night. He's like, maybe we should go with like play around with tinctures and stuff so you can have something in the day. I'm like, well, Michelle has her whole high hello thing. I'm sure that she's not actively doing it right now because of everything else going on, but like she's
Mhm.
got the knowledge.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start meeting with her about that and go over that.
Yeah, let's
Um,
do it. I'd love to. I'd love to help.
yeah. Well, there's something else.
Yeah.
By the way, you should pop like your higher healing, or actually on the website that's linked in there. There's stuff about higher healing on the website if anyone is
Yeah.
watching this and interested. Michelle's kind of got lots of experience in that and had an entire business about coaching people through cannabis usage for medication.
Yeah. Medicinal and recreational.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll put that in the little description too. Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, our next section is reflective questions. So we got rid of everything taking up space in our brain, and now we're going to focus on the past week for a bit. We'll ask ourselves, how was the week? How did I perform in my various roles as an adult? Did I achieve the goals I set for myself? We want to think about victories and almost, so kind of like successes and failures, but we want to acknowledge that we did our best and what things can we do better next time without the shame. And we want to ask, what could I have done differently? And is there anything that I need to follow up on? And that will kind of transition us into the next section. So we'll take 10 minutes for this and we'll go on mute and we'll circle back to go to the next part.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's time. Hmm.
Okay. Hmm. How'd it go?
I remember something that I needed to follow up on when I was going through that part, so that was helpful.
Oh, good.
And overall, I kind of went through some of the stuff that we already discussed, but writing it out was still helpful. How about you?
I didn't do it because I was working on these little cards. And then once I was like, okay, I did it, I went to go do a reflective question. And you were like, okay, that's it. And I was like, oh, so
Do you want more time?
no, I'm fine because I feel like um my reflective questions came out in our first hour. So I'm feeling comfortable and complete.
That's good. Well, our next section is top 20. So this is where we pull things out of our reflective questions and the brain dump, or for Michelle, the brain dump and what we went over in the beginning of the meeting. And we want to pluck the 20 most important things. It does not have to be exactly 20, but we want to try to keep it under 20 because the purpose of it is to practice prioritizing the most important things instead of listing everything that will overwhelm us later. So we want to add structure to our thoughts now that we've let them flow freely. We want to set realistic expectations of what we can accomplish in a week and prioritize where to invest our time and energy. So you can use categories for them. You can um, label the urgency of them. And I will usually I'll usually pull stuff I start listing in top 20, but or in brain dump, but categories can be really helpful as long as you make sure that you do have less than 20 of them. So we'll take 15 minutes for that and we'll come back and start adding things to our calendar.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that is time. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. I did like a combo of like taking top 20 and putting it in just the way that I have my template set up
Hmm.
into my calendar. So I've been doing like a combo of having
Very
a
nice.
running top 20 and then deciding to put them in where I'm going to put them in. So I'm a little ahead.
Right. I kind of did something similar. Since I had already kind of started doing the list um, in Brain Dump, I went
Hmm.
ahead and started early on the add to calendar. And I also I went ahead and did the weather for the week. So I didn't finish the add to calendar section, but I did start the weather part, and so now all that's left is the literally plugging in
Oh,
things.
yeah. Well, we did a very
Mhm.
similar thing. So,
Yes. So our last section is 10 minutes, and we will visualize a successful week by accounting for things and pulling things out of our top 20 and putting them into our calendar for the week. We also want to account for things like time blocks, like non-committals, creative time, phone calls we need to make, appointments, pet care, what have you, stretches, and other things that we might not consider that are just good for us. So we'll want to take 10 minutes for that, and we will probably finish before the 10 minutes just because we both jumped ahead.
mm,
So if you're like us and you finish early, you can just take a few deep breaths and think about the week ahead and just thank yourself for doing the thing.
mm,
Um, so we'll be back in 10 and then we'll wrap it up.
beautiful. Thank you.
All right, that's time.
Okay.
How are
How'd
you
you feel?
feeling?
Oh. I feel pretty complete. Feeling really good. How about you?
Uh,
What are you
my per
smiley about?
my person is awake and he's feeling much better. So
Oh, that's
over
good.
there singing Bo Burnham. All right. Yeah, so I'm feeling better about my week too. Especially now that I've taken the time to appreciate the last week is not the worst parts.
Yeah,
So I feel
good.
better.
Beautiful.
Well, I guess we're good. If you want to stay on with me after we stop streaming, I'll tell you about that book.
Okay, yeah,
And
let's do it.
then later on we can set up a time and we'll come back. But thank you guys for coming. And if anyone is watching,